Hi everybody, Jessie here from jessiebanks.com and welcome back to another video. So for today's video, I am coloring up Stamp Anything, an image from Stamp Anything. It's called James, You're So Hip, or So Hip. And I'm going to color him up with my Copic markers on Neenah Solar White cardstock. This is the 80-pound version. So I am going to let you guys watch the coloring. I didn't film me watercoloring the background. You'll see the entire card in the thumbnail of this picture. I'm just starting to figure out how to do like backgrounds and things that aren't just florals, so I haven't felt comfortable filming them yet. I'm starting to get to the point where I'm feeling a lot more comfortable with my paints in terms of doing like cityscapes and stuff like that in the background, so hopefully I'll be able to share that with you guys relatively soon here in a card. So yeah, I hope you don't mind. I am going to start by going in and coloring in his face. I do focus on not coloring where the whites of the eyes will be, simply because I don't like going over them with white gel pens and markers and paint pens and all sorts of things afterwards, trying to bring back the white, so I just try to avoid getting in there at all. I am doing my typical skin tone color, which is E04, E13, E11, E21, E00, and probably E50 I think I used in this one. I swap out E50 and E000 and just kind of switch back and forth depending on which one I see first in my marker bag. So, yeah, that's super fun and exciting. Coloring in the skin. I'm really not sure what to talk about. Oh my goodness, I have done 3 voiceovers in the last day and a half, so got no stories. I got no fun things. I don't know what to talk about. It's spring. There's still a ton of snow on the ground. I cannot wait for it to melt. Here comes the cat. He's probably going to play with something to get in the way as per usual. So back to Stamp Anything. I am relatively new to their images. I was blessed to guest design for them for the month of March. So this is my last guest post for them. I really thank Anne for letting me do this with her. I truly appreciate it. I think her images are absolutely adorable. And I love that she offered me the spot to guest with them and get to play with a bunch of their new release stuff from March. And I picked up a couple old stamp sets. I do have a couple more stamp sets. And I picked up the Oz die set. She did like a Wizard of Oz themed release and she came out with dies for that. So I have that coming, which is fun and exciting. She is a sponsor over in my Cards and Color Facebook group. Again, if that's not a group you're part of and you would like to be, we have exclusive discount codes from different stores that sponsor in there. They do giveaways. We have all sorts of fun. I love seeing what you all make. It inspires me. I am actually thinking about doing a casing series here on my YouTube channel where I would pick a card like out of my group or whatever and recreate it or get inspired by it, kind of a deal, do something very, very similar here on my channel, and film the entire process. If that's something you'd be interested in, shoot me a comment down below, because I think it would be super fun to recreate the things I see you guys making, because I love watching and looking and learning and seeing what you guys make and getting new ideas and things of that nature from there. So now we're working on our hair. As you know, with most of my Copic coloring, I work dark to light, except for when it comes to hair. I work light to dark, and that's simply so that I don't wash out too much of my darker colors with the lighter colors and have to go over the hair multiple times, because I'm lazy and I don't want to and I don't have to, and that's just the way I prefer to do it. On the same note, if you do it the opposite way, you do you. Like, everybody colors a little different, everybody picks a different paper, everybody does things in a different order, and it all works. So it's whatever you're most comfortable with, and the way you've learned to do things is definitely the way I recommend you doing it all. So, just finishing up the hair. I think I have, this is E42. I go in with, where's that E43? No, that's 42. So I go in with E43 yet, just add a little bit more depth. I looked at it after this and decided it wasn't quite dark enough. Aren't these guys cute? I think her images are so fun. They're absolutely adorable. I love their big giant eyes. And Anne is one of the nicest people ever. She does actually the banner in my Facebook group. She does that and adds companies to it and things as my sponsorship grows, and she's like my little banner fairy, and I adore it and I appreciate it so much. She's one of the sweetest people ever. That's one thing I love about this community, is how nice and helpful and generous and different companies are, and people in that enjoy making cards in general. We're here for our hobby. I mean, aside from like the companies, but those of us that make a lot of cards, 90% of us, this is our hobby. This is not my job. This is not what I do to pay my bills. I do this because I enjoy it and I love coloring and I love making cards and I love sharing with you guys something that I thoroughly enjoy doing. So that's always fun and exciting to see everybody growing and changing and how far you've come. And I mean, if you're worried that, you know, your coloring's not improving and all of that and you're practicing regularly, if you go back and look at something you did even 6 months or a year ago and see the difference and how far you've evolved just from practicing, you'll be pleasantly surprised with how far you are coming just with that in itself. So now we're coming in and working on his toque. I do use E74, 71, and 70, and then I come back in with the darker colors just to add some spots and some textures to it, simply because he's a hipster, and I think hipsters wear, like, I don't know, knitted beanies with, like, little flecks of color in it, and I don't know, I have this image in my head. Not a hipster, but I think they're hilarious and super fun. And if you're a hipster, all the power to you. I mean, be yourself, but I just think it's super funny. And I find it enjoyable to color like hipster-esque images. That's not a random thought from my brain. I don't know what is. Wow. I think I'm getting a bit of a cold, so pardon my voice if it's a little bit funny and crackly. Now I'm coming in with the E70 and I'm just going to fill it all in here before we start on the spots. Actually, I think I do his scarf and his shoes before I do all of the dotting. But he's adorable, you guys. I would speed this up more so that I didn't have to chat as much at you, but I like keeping it as slow as I possibly can. And this is only 2 times the original speed, so you can really see what I'm doing. And if you want to pick it apart or try to copy it, it's pretty easy to follow along when I keep them slower. I mean, those of you that have followed my channel or watched my videos for any length of time, you know that I attempt to do that simply because I don't want to race through it and have parts get cut out simply because of the speed of the video and not being able to see what's happening. So I'm doing the sleeves of his arm, his shoes, and his scarf, the same color as his toque. Finishing that off with the E70, and then we'll get into the polka dotting, because I like doing stippling techniques on everything. You just come in with your, I start with the darkest marker and I just start randomly doing dots. Now I know my hand's going to be in the way, and that's because of how vertical I'm holding the marker, just so that I can get just the tip of that marker to lay down color, as opposed to getting like the shape of the nib itself. I just want that tip to touch. So you need to hold your marker very vertically to get in there and get those tiny little spots throughout everything. So my hand will be in the way for this process, but you can kind of see what it looks like as those spots show up on your screen. If you do find it's too small, you can blow up the video so you can see it bigger. Don't watch me on your TV though, because that could be terrifying. Ain't nobody need to see me that big. Nope, nope. No giant hands for me today. I decided to add a few swats just into his scarf as well, so that it looked like they were of a similar fabric. Then I'll come in with the 77 and add more spots going out into the rest of the beanie. As I go from where the shadowed points are, like the darkest points where I'm doing the biggest concentration of darks, out into the lighter color, I am adding less spots just because I don't want it to be overwhelming with the stippling. I just want it to kind of read like there's stippling and little flecks of color throughout the entire toque and scarf, not actually cover it in that. It's kind of the same technique I use when I do mermaid tails and things of that nature. It's one of my go-to things anyway. Finish it off with a little 74, and then I think I jump into his jeans. Oh, sorry, I thought I had to sneeze there for a moment. Guess not. It went away. I am voicing this over on Tuesday. This video goes live tomorrow, along with others that I still have not voiced over. But you know, I'm trying to get ahead. I have next Saturday's Stamp Sesh Saturday filmed for you guys. So I'm getting there. I'm really filming a lot more than I used to. I'm trying to get you guys more than just the 2 videos a week. If you start to feel overwhelmed and you're sick of seeing me in your feed, please let me know. I don't want to have anybody be like, you're putting too much out there, I don't want to watch you anymore, or you're not putting enough. Well, let's not get crazy here. I can't promise you guys a video every day. That's just never going to happen. I can tell you that right now, and I don't want to try and put that pressure on myself. I am working really hard to come with the guaranteed 2 videos a week. Anything more than that is just a super bonus. I don't know if you guys can hear the cat snoring. He's laying on the floor beside me on my toe, and he's snoring, and it's hilarious. Like, I wonder if the mic's picking that up. Hopefully not. So we're just going to finish in his jeans here. I do come in, after I go in with this 91 here, I come back with the BG 90. Yep. And I put it over top, and it just gives the jeans that little bit of a dirty, worn look to them, as opposed to being quite so bright blue. Now I'm going to come in and fill in his belt nice and dark and do his belt buckle and the screen of his cell phone. So it looks like he's, I don't know, texting somebody or playing a game or whatever he's doing on his phone here. His belt buckle I do lighter just to make it read as a little bit more silver as opposed to black. So the link to this image will be in the description box below. Of course, I always link up at least the stamp sets there. I don't tend to link every individual marker I use, but I do, like if I'm doing a stamp set and then if I use like my Zig Clean colors or anything, I link up sets, but I do always link the stamps and dies or whatever I use for sure in the description box, so you can check that out down below and easily click over to be able to pick him up. I must have been thinking there for a moment because I quit coloring or watching whatever I was watching on YouTube at the time, because that's what I do when I film videos. I have my computer off to the right hand side of me and I'm usually playing YouTube or catching up on TV shows or something of that nature. So sometimes they catch my mind and I forget to turn off the record button while I'm watching whatever's happening. Get back on screen, Jesse. I'm slowly pulling the image closer to myself. We may end up off screen yet at this rate. Coloring in his shirt with my BVs. And then I use some Ys to make his phone look like a gold, yellowy colored phone. As per always, once I finish this up, I will take out a black pen and retrace all of the lines just to emphasize those black lines and make sure they're really, really dark, because that's personal preference of what I enjoy. So I do re-outline all of my images after I have colored them in. Sometimes the different colors push the black lines back, or I just find that the ink is not quite dark enough for me. So it's a habit I've done for a long time now, so I just continue to do it. And that'll be it for this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, shoot me a comment. If you aren't subscribed, I'd love for you to subscribe. See you later.